Ever wondered how pilots calculate aircraft performance for safe and efficient flights? Well, it's not magic, but a series of precise calculations and assessments. These calculations help pilots determine the weight and balance of the aircraft, plan fuel usage, convert temperature units, calculate the crosswind component, convert between true and magnetic north course, and finally, calculate pressure altitude. Each of these aspects is a vital piece of the puzzle that ensures a safe and efficient flight. Whether it's deciding how much weight to carry, planning fuel consumption, or understanding the impact of crosswinds, these calculations help pilots make informed decisions before and during a flight. Understanding these calculations is essential for every pilot, so strap in as we take off on this informational journey. First up, we have weight and balance calculations. This is not a numbers game, it's a crucial element of safe and efficient flight operations. When we speak of weight, it's not just about the aircraft itself, but also the crew, passengers, and cargo on board. Think of your aircraft as a seesaw. Both sides need to be balanced for the seesaw to function properly. Similarly, an aircraft needs to be balanced to ensure it can take off, fly, and land safely. An aircraft that is too heavy or improperly balanced can lead to decreased performance, making it harder to control and even potentially dangerous. So, how do we tackle this? First, we need to determine how much weight we want to carry. This includes the crew, passengers, and cargo. If you find that the total weight exceeds your aircraft's capabilities, you'll need to consider alternatives. This could mean making multiple trips or using a larger aircraft. Now, this is where fuel comes into play. Fuel is a significant part of an aircraft's weight, but it's also essential for your journey. You'll need to calculate your fuel requirements based on your desired range. Keep in mind that as you consume fuel during flight, the aircraft's weight decreases, affecting the balance. This process might seem daunting, but it's all about taking it step by step. Begin with your aircraft's basic empty weight, then add the weight of the crew, passengers, cargo, and lastly, the fuel. Remember to always stay within the aircraft's maximum allowable weight. Finally, it's vital to calculate the center of gravity, the point where the aircraft would balance if you could hang it from a string. This calculation ensures the aircraft is balanced and safe to fly. Now, it might feel like a lot to take in, but remember what's at stake. These calculations aren't just about numbers on a page. They directly affect the safety and efficiency of your flight. Remember, weight and balance directly impact the aircraft's performance, so these calculations are crucial. Now, let's move on to fuel planning. Picture this. You're flying high above the clouds, feeling like a bird with the world beneath you. But even birds need to rest their wings. For us, it's not just about resting, it's about refueling. Fuel planning is a crucial part of your flight preparation, especially for long-haul flights and in case of unexpected situations that might require more fuel than initially anticipated. Here's how you do it. First, you need to consult your trusty companions, the Aircraft Flight Manual, or AFM, and the Pilot's Operating Handbook, or POH. These contain vital information about power settings and fuel consumption rates. They are your guides to understanding how your aircraft sips its fuel and at what rate. But remember, fuel planning doesn't stop when your wheel's up. It's an ongoing process throughout your flight. You need to be vigilant, constantly monitoring your fuel state and adjusting your flight plan if necessary. Now, what if you're mid-flight and you realize you need more fuel? This is where en route fuel availability comes into play. Before your flight, check along your route for airports where you could potentially refuel. This gives you options and ensures you never find yourself running on fumes. So, whether you're soaring over the ocean or darting between the mountains, remember that good fuel planning is your ticket to a smooth, uninterrupted flight. It's not just about getting from point A to point B, but also about enjoying the journey and landing with peace of mind. With proper fuel planning, you ensure a smooth and uninterrupted flight. Next, we delve into temperature conversion. In the world of aviation, temperature is a key factor that influences aircraft performance. Globally, the standard scale used in aviation is Celsius. However, in the US, Fahrenheit is typically used. This discrepancy often necessitates the conversion between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So, how do we convert? The formula to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius is as follows. Subtract 32 from the Fahrenheit temperature and then multiply the result by 5/9. Conversely, to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, multiply the Celsius temperature by 9/5 and then add 32. For instance, if you want to convert 32 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius, you'd subtract 32, resulting in 0, and then multiply by 5/9, giving you 0 degrees Celsius. On the other hand, to convert 0 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, you'd multiply 0 by 9/5 and add 32, yielding 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Mastering this conversion helps you interpret and use weather data correctly. Now let's talk about crosswind component and course conversion. Understanding the crosswind component is essential as it can significantly affect takeoffs and landings. You see, aircrafts are designed to take off and land into the wind. However, this is not always possible due to the direction of the runway. So we calculate the crosswind component to assess how much of the wind is blowing across the runway. This helps us determine if it's safe to proceed or if we need to select a different runway. Now let's turn our attention to course conversion. When we're planning our flight, we initially plot our course using true north as a reference. However, the compass in our aircraft doesn't point to true north, it points to magnetic north. So we need to convert our course from true north to magnetic north. The formula to do this is pretty straightforward. We take our true course and adjust it by the local magnetic variation. The result is our magnetic course. Remember the handy phrase, east is least and west is best. If the variation is east, we subtract it from the true course, and if it's west, we add it. So let's say our true course is 0 degrees and we have a magnetic variation of 10 degrees east. Using our phrase, east is least, we subtract the 10 degrees from our true course, giving us a magnetic course of -10 degrees. But since we don't have negative bearings, we add 360 degrees to get a magnetic course of 350 degrees. These calculations ensure safe takeoffs and landings and accurate navigation. Lastly, we tackle pressure altitude. You might wonder, why does pressure altitude matter? Well, it's a key factor in aircraft performance calculations. It's the height above a standard datum plane, a theoretical level where the atmospheric pressure is 29.92 inches of mercury. Think of it this way. As we climb higher into the sky, the atmospheric pressure decreases. This change in pressure affects the performance of your aircraft engine and other systems. So it's not just about knowing how high you are above sea level, but understanding how that altitude impacts your aircraft's operation. Now, how do we calculate pressure altitude? The formula is quite straightforward. Pressure altitude equals field elevation plus 120 times the difference between outside air temperature and ICE temperature. Let's break it down. Field elevation is the height above sea level of the airfield you're operating from. The outside air temperature, or OAT, is the ambient temperature around your aircraft. ISA temperature, on the other hand, is the International Standard Atmosphere Temperature, the theoretical temperature at your current altitude under standard atmospheric conditions. So by plugging in these values into the formula, you can get your pressure altitude. Remember, this calculation is essential for flight planning and in-flight adjustments. Just like with all other calculations we've discussed in this series, always ensure to double-check your figures. The safety and efficiency of your flight depend on it. Knowing your pressure altitude is essential for maintaining optimal aircraft performance. As we prepare for landing, let's review what we've learned. We've seen the crucial role of weight and balance calculations in determining how much weight we can carry safely, whether it be crew, passengers, or cargo. We've also delved into fuel planning, reminding ourselves to consult the aircraft flight manual or the pilot's operating handbook for accurate power settings and fuel consumption. We've tackled the importance of temperature conversion in aviation and learned how to switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit. We've learned to calculate the crosswind component, a crucial factor in takeoff and landing. We've also discovered how to convert from true north to magnetic north, an essential step in flight planning. And finally, we've understood the significance of pressure altitude and performance calculations and how it influences our flight. Remember, precise calculations make for safe and efficient flights. Keep practicing and soon these calculations will become second nature. Safe flying.